where we have become very individualized and very separate. And so what I feel called to do in my life, and what I feel like we need as a species, is to come back into that connection. And for myself, I feel like it's a sense of remembrance that we are part of the sacred web of life. We have always been so, we will always be so. And traveling to Australia and New Zealand because I was 19 and it was my first time like having a conversation with, I met some Aboriginal folks in Australia and some Maori folks in New Zealand. So it was the first time for me having a conversation with an Indigenous person. And I realized that growing up here, that erasure was so strong. I live now right across the waterway from the two reserves here in town. And so there was always an understanding that there were Indigenous peoples here. But in school, we never learned anything about them. I remember in grade 5, a social studies textbook, we had one page at the beginning of one of our history chapters that talked about historically Indigenous peoples being here. And that is the only time that I remember in my entire education from kindergarten to grade 12, learning anything about Indigenous peoples in Turtle Island. And when I went traveling, that it just really the lights went off that is so wrong. And the premise of it is that the Oxford English Children's Dictionary removed a bunch of nature words from the dictionary to replace them with mostly words based around technology. And so these two people decided to create this book to save these words for the children. And so they embarked on this journey of, deciding which words that had been removed, and as I look through it, there's some of the words are like these words that I use so commonly, but it's like acorn and conquer and kingfisher and words of animals and creatures and natural beings that I have a personal relationship with. And to think that kids growing up today would not be able to learn about them, it's just a dictionary, but it symbolizes so much. Lockdowns, and one of the things that I think is actually a really beautiful gift or a hidden silver lining to COVID is that I think it's helped a lot of people connect more deeply with nature because we're not able to engage in some of the other human things that we would have done before. And so we can go and spend time by ourselves or maybe with one or two other people in nature.